Like I promised you, here is part 4 of relationships. And as I told you last time, when you have the first meetings, just be yourself. Dress yourself how you feel comfortable. Don't pretend to be somebody you're not, because it fires back. It fires back. Leave your special looks for later to create special moments. They're needed when you go on. So you meet the first few times, and I told you also, no, don't put all your negative experience and old luggage the first meetings out on a table. They might not match the dinner you're eating, okay? And maybe it's hard to digest for the other, or when the other one does it, hard to digest for you. That can destroy the progress of meeting. We're always afraid when we don't put on our sales pitch and show the best we are in the beginning, that we mess up the date. You cannot mess up a date. You cannot. Only if you do the wrong things you can mess it up. If you pretend to be somebody else, you're not. If you show the best side from the beginning and later on he sees you in the morning waking up with a wrinkled up face and hair all over the place, So it always is the best to be you. And we cannot mess up the date if we're us, because our life is us. It's your life. It's your own personality. And it is the identity you created during your life. Of course you can improve, and you will. Why can't we mess up? Because if a person cannot take us who we are, we don't messing up. We just don't waste time with the wrong person. And that would be the wrong person. If the person cannot take you as you are, what's later on? So if, worst case, worst scenario, the day doesn't work out after 2, 3 meetings, 4 meetings, part in peace. Part in peace. Don't regret it. It's an experience. It's an experience. The experience to know what you don't want. Or if the other person tells you that he is not or she is not so into you like you maybe be there, it saves you a lot of trouble, because what's later on, it's out of balance. If one of the two decide not to continue, it has a reason. And don't chase 50% if you could have 100. So you cannot mess up the first date. A non-match is a non-match. You know that. And just think about yourself. You have a person, looks okay, talks okay, but it is not really the cozy feeling you expect to create a chemistry where love can grow. Why would you continue? And the other person has the same right. So there is no messing up when we meet people and get to know them. What it does, it saves us for trouble later. So be yourself, dress yourself. The best thing you can do. And if you have to part because you're not a match, do it peacefully and say, well, that was a fun experience. At least now I know more what I don't want. And that automatically narrows down what you really want and what you need in your life. And if we go in a companionship, in a new companionship, no matter how old we are, it's nothing to do with age. We want harmony. We want things in common. Yes, and we want to be respected and loved. Simple as that. And it has to be not 50-50, like I said before. 100 and 100 it has to be. The worst thing some people do when they go in a new relationship, before they even started, they have entitlements on it. That will not work either. Because an entitlement is already plastered with restrictions, with expectations. Expect one thing only: to connect, to be heard, to be present, to be important. And expect from yourself that you feel the other person is important to you too. You can bond with the other person too, and to develop a very endearing conversation and life later on. Not just for now. If you say to yourself, well, it's not perfect, but it's better than nothing, you invite already the nothing into it. Because when you settle for mediocre, you don't settle. You will continue in your mind looking for not mediocre. And that, where it ends up, we know. I don't have to explain that. So settling for mediocre should not be in any place or circumstance. It should be really something you have in your mind that it lasts for the long haul. And the long haul is always, I go back when I started, when you're from the beginning, be yourself. Also, we make a lot of mistakes. We start interviewing. Now just have a conversation. What do you think? What do you like? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that or this? Always use the word feeling. How do you feel about it? Not how you think about it. How do you feel? Because feelings in a relationship are very important. And that's why our narrative has to be about feelings. How do you feel about that? That is, and I saw it so many times with many clients. I say, well, how did the conversation go? Did you talk about what's on their mind? How it's going to continue? Yeah, I told them. How you see that going to go on? How do you see? How do you feel? How do you feel that we can continue? Are your feelings big enough so we can continue? That's very, very important. Feeling again. So don't be afraid when you continue meeting somebody to remain yourself, to really remain yourself. Be curious about the circle of friends, because that says a lot about people too. A lot. How long do you have your friends? Oh, that's nice. Oh, are your friends interested in sports like you, or do they do this or that? Be interested in their closer circle and see, when you do that, if they're interested in your closer circle as well. Because, like I said, it has to be 100 and 100. It is not progress if one puts everything out and the other one hides. No, don't hide. Say how you feel and ask the other person how you feel as well. And that's when you can make progress. Feelings are important. And more about that in my next video about relationship.